Alright. I went digging around looking for that book about medical stuff and honey. So we're going to do another one with bees. You guys could get tired of me talking about bees. I guess I'm not getting many likes on these bee videos. But let me tell you something. You guys ain't going to be eating without bees. Alright. You guys can eat all your Pop-Tarts if you want, but you know you cannot live on Pop-Tarts alone. You know, you young folks, you cannot live on bread alone. You gotta eat well. You gotta eat, and a lot of things that you eat are grown. And they get pollinated by bees and butterflies and stuff. I keep milkweed on my property as well. I like to look at the monarchs when they are flying around here. I eat milkweed also. You can eat milkweed. It's not poisonous, despite what people say. And you don't have to boil it 3 times or 4 times and boil all the nutrition out either. Get the little bitty ones, those little bitty milkweed pods. Just get you a handful of those, throw them in some boiling water, and just boil them up just like broccoli. Tastes good. They get a little bit bigger. You can take a few of the bigger pods off, and there's a seam on there, and you just put your fingernail in there and then eat the white stuff out of the center. That's right. Also milkweed shoots. You can boil those up, eat them. Anyway, Samuel Thayer, Wild Edibles, I think is the book called. You learn a bit about that in there from him. He's the one that kind of turned me onto that a long while back. Anyway, so I found a couple things here. Went digging around a bit because I kind of had an idea where I might have this book. But I found these old beekeeping journals too, American Bee Journal. And this bee journal I think is a product of the Dadant family. Okay, of Dadant beekeeping. Dadant, right? I'm not a poster child for Dadant. It's just they've been around forever. You know, like 160 years, 7 generations of family. They've had a lot of good things, and they've done a lot of good things. They've made a lot of good things. The only thing I don't disagree with, I don't agree with them, and I do disagree with them, is on, you know, using sugar syrup to feed bees and all that nonsense. See, I don't agree with that at all. Anyway, the reason why I brought these two, okay, I picked these up somewhere in the past. And one is from 1989, one's from 1984. Sometimes I'll come upon something and I'll just pick it up because I see the cover is supposed to get your attention, so you buy it. And it did. Okay, so this one from 1984 says, we can import honey, but we can't import pollination. So even back then, okay, even back then, they were concerned about the bees and pollination and whatnot. But they're not putting 2 and 2 together. That it's the herbicides, pesticides, and all the sugar syrup and all that crap, you know, that's doing us in. They didn't put 2 and 2 together. But what does it say down here? It says succeeding with a 2-queen system. Another thing is they like Africanized bees in Brazil. 100% true. I like Africanized bees. I like African bees. I like Africanized bees. Why? I've said it 100 times. They take care of their own colony. They breed strong. They're more primitive because they ain't had anybody meddling with them. You know, they haven't had that natural instinct bred out of them to be docile and succumb to things like varroa mites and stuff. They kill varroa mites. Alright. There's another one. 1989. September. What's it say here? Yankees in Brazil. A success story with Africanized bees. This is true. In 1980, I started reading up and studying on African bees and Africanized bees, and people bringing African bees who hadn't been meddled with from Africa to Brazil, and they wanted to crossbreed them with local bees so that they can get those traits. And of course, those eventually came north. They're very popular also in Central America. They keep Africanized bees in Central America very successfully, and they love them because they produce a lot of honey, and they don't have the maladies that you find in bees in the United States, because the bees in the United States have been ruined basically by government regulation and misinformation and just people being brainwashed and taught the wrong things about how to handle bees. That's just my opinion, okay? You could say, well, they've got 100 years of experience behind them. What do you got? You know what? I don't care about that. You could do the wrong thing for 2,000 million years. A billion years, you could do the wrong thing over and over, but it doesn't make it right. Okay? So, treatment free. God created the bees. He didn't need us to tell them what to do. He didn't need us to treat them. They can handle their own affairs. The only thing we do is we try to, like, you know, control them to a point to where they're of service to us, and we can swipe some of their honey, you know, in return for giving them a free house and planting flowers, you know, so that they get free food, and so they get free food and board, kind of like kids, right? We don't need to go around with all these treatments and stuff. No. If the colony's big and strong, then it'll take care of itself. If it's aggressive, it will take care of itself. In Wiltshire, England, there was a group of beekeepers, or maybe it was two. I don't remember, one or two. But they were going strong with treatment free there. They were documenting their findings. I remember there was a video or something. There was video footage where they were documenting how their bees, which were wild bees, they would find varroa mites, get them out of the hive, and they would find where they had laid eggs in their cells and stuff, and they'd dig it out, and throw it out of the hive and all that. You know, so this is not anything new. It's just been kind of like glossed over and covered up. Especially the U.S. government likes to cover things up so people don't know better, you know, because they want us under their control. Well, you gotta buy a package of bees. No, you don't. Oh, you gotta feed them sugar syrup. No, you don't. Don't. You want to get away from all that nonsense. You know, you can't go and buy bees every year. You can't. Eventually the government will shut off your bee supply. That's what it will come to. Okay? That's what it'll come to. And then they want you dependent on them. Please feed me. Okay? Please feed me. Please feed me. No. No, you need to get away from that. You need to be self-sufficient. The government hates self-sufficiency. Used to be a long time ago, they would say, keep a couple of chickens and have them lay eggs for you, for your family. They don't say things like that anymore. Now they kill your chickens. They kill your chickens. And then they blame it on stuff, you know. Alright, so here's the book. 2 Million Blossoms. Alright? This book, it talks about sugar and diabetes and natural laxatives and all kinds of stuff. Let me just go to the front. Okay, honey, the ideal food. You know, in the Bible it says the land of milk and honey. Real milk and real honey are good for you. Not fake honey. There is fake honey. Stuff that's made to taste like honey, but it's not real honey. Alright. History of healing with honey. Unraveling secrets of honey. The honeybee creates her pharmacy. Complementing cancer therapy. Can diabetics safely enjoy honey? A spoonful a day keeps allergies at bay. Cough no more. The land of milk and honey. Feeding the flora. Sweet diet. Stress buster and clear thinking. The better to see you with, my dear. Obviously that's something about eyes, right? Natural laxative. Fast recovery from diarrhea. Alright. Farewell hangover. Babies and botulism. Alright, here's part 3 here. Honey for wound care. Right? I talked about that. Wound healer. Rediscovering an ancient cure. The bishop and the bees. Eliminating ulcers. Almost out of time. Chronic and surgical wounds. Skin grafts. Remember I talked about that a little bit. Right? Honey for burns. Soothing solution. Honey against burns. Healing. Healing Fournier's gangrene. Honey for wound care in developing countries. Embalming the dead. Pampering your pets. This book has got a lot of good stuff in it. Okay, this is by a woman named Kirsten S. Traynor. Okay, she's got a master's science. She's got a master of science, right? Traynor, T-R-A-Y-N-O-R. Kirsten, K-I-R-S-T-E-N. Middle initial S. I recommend that you get this book. This is an eye opener. All right, that's a good book. And I know people that have put some of this stuff to the test. It got back with me. For real. Alright, I'm going to let you go with this one, and I need to get busy doing some stuff. I'll see you later. Have fun.